Hey there, it's Dave Duford from Final Expense Agent Mentor today. It's feagentmentor.com, and yes, today we're going to continue my sharing of funny final expense stories that I have personally experienced. The last video I talked about my crazy lady who floated on a casket and got flown off by Al Gore during Hurricane Katrina. If you haven't listened to that, that's a funny one. And so today I'm going to tell you about the story of where I almost was threatened to be killed. It's a great story with a happy ending. So anyways, here's how it worked. Like I said, I live in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and I work the tri-state area. Tennessee, North Georgia, Northeast Alabama. I like working all the areas. There's pros and cons of each, but for some reason, there's some pretty strange people in Alabama. Sorry, guys from Alabama, but it's kind of true. I was up on a place called Lookout Mountain, Alabama. Very rural. So mountain that stretches about 70, 80 miles from Tennessee to Gadsden, Alabama. But anyways, I just got done replacing a crappy policy. Felt pretty good because I just door knocked the lady. It was a great call. Everything worked out fantastically. And so I felt really good and started door knocking. Didn't have anything else going on at the time. So I happened to come across a call with no number and no signature on the card. The guy just filled his name out, didn't have any sort of specific information. The only thing that was on there was information about where he lived. So I went ahead and I said, well, let me just go door knock. So I found the guy. Like I said, some backwoods out in the middle of nowhere. And as I'm pulling in, there's a sign. It's probably 6 foot long by 4 foot wide. And the sign says in big bold letters, nobody can miss. The sign says, any damage done to you or your property or yourself is not the fault of this property owner signed the Knights. So now picture this. I'm halfway into a driveway, a gravel driveway, long driveway. I see this sign. Start reading this sign. I'll admit, I have no shame. I usually turn around and leave because I just don't have time for things like that are about to happen. So, but I felt really good that day. I was very confident. I thought, you know what? This time I'm going to do it a little different. I'm going to go door knock these people because they sent the card in. Very true. So, I think about it. I start going down the driveway. Well, driveway, like I said, gravel driveway is probably about 300 feet long. It's pretty long. It seemed like it was a football field length. It's about halfway down, I notice up on the porch of this house, there's a dude rocking in his rocking chair watching me. So he's been watching me the whole time. Even after I read his sign, basically didn't even notice it or didn't even care. So I get to the very end of the driveway, park my car. Sometimes I get out. I try to use a little comedy, lighten the mood a little bit. I say, hey, are you Mr. Knight? And he says, well, it depends on who's asking. I said, well, you're the guy I'm looking for. Usually people laugh about that, or they're kind of like, what are you talking about? This guy is obviously a little strange with this big sign he's got in his front yard. So anyways, I said, listen, I'm here because you sent this card in. I was just in between appointments. I figured I would have called you. Your number's not on the card, but hey, I was here, so I figured to see if you got 5 or 10 minutes about this information about life insurance requests. I said, well, hold on, let me go get my wife. So, nothing odd. He goes, grabs his wife. Well, his wife is like the perfect life insurance prospect. That if I could have one of those a day, my life would be easy street. No need to sell it. She had already lost a spouse, had policies that paid off. She understood it. She carried it on herself. Well, she had sent the card in. And the whole reason for her sending the card in was because she wanted to get insurance on her husband, the guy that went and grabbed her, that was watching me from the rocking chair. And didn't have any, just needed a small plan, could only afford $20 a month. Guy had an open heart bypass several years ago. Well, so I could get him approved. We got him first day coverage. And so we talked it over. The wife was kind of the decision maker. Well, I think, at least the instigator. And so all we needed to do was go talk to the husband. I failed to mention the guy had walked away after he had brought her out, went to fool around in his truck, work on it and stuff. I didn't even think twice about it because I figured he'd be brought back up here in a minute. So once we worked out the details, everything sounded good. I went back and she said, well, let's go grab Mr. Knight and we'll talk to him. So she was feeling pretty good and happy, and I didn't see anything wrong. So she goes back and he's in his truck pedaling around. She says, hey, honey, I'm going to take a life insurance policy on you. All I need you to do is just sign 2 places and we'll get you approved and you're good to go. Well, he gets out of his car, stands up erect, tense, and he says, I ain't signing no mother effing paper. This mother effer came down my driveway telling me there's no phone number on his mother card. He was going off. I mean, screaming at the top of his lungs, pissed off. I have never seen anybody react like this. I was in total shock because the guy walked away. I thought he was fine. I'm sitting there just about to crap myself. You know, I'm like almost peeing down my leg. I am completely frightened, okay? On the inside. For some divine interaction, I'm completely calm on the outside. He's ranting and raving, and he walks up to me and says, you're lucky, man, you're not buried dead in my yard out here. And I mean, to me, I'd take that as a threat. You know, he's threatening. It wasn't like, hey, man, you're lucky you're not dead out here. I mean, he was like, you're lucky you're not dead in my yard out here. I mean, he was mad. I took it as a threat. And I kept my cool. I don't know how. And I told him, I said, in the calmest, unemotional voice, I said, Mr. Knight, listen, I'm happy to leave. Sorry to trespass. I'm just here because you didn't have the number listed on the card. What do you mean that guy needed no card on there? There's no number on there. He just went off and off. I said, I'm happy to leave. I don't want to bother you. I apologize. There's no harm meant. I'll be happy to leave right now if that's what you're playing. I said it just like that. So I don't know what happened, but the guy calmed down. His wife said, you really need this life insurance? And he signed it. I asked him the health questions. He signed everything off. And I got that son of a bitch approved and got him roped into a life insurance. Booyah. And on top of that, if it doesn't get any better than that, I walked away with my life. I also got referrals from him. And he's still on the books now. It's been about 2.5 years since I sold the dude. So that just is incredible. I can't believe that that's actually stuck, and I actually sold the guy. So after the sale, the woman calls me back, leaves this 2 or 3 minute voicemail on my caller ID, or my voicemail in my office, and she says she was so apologetic, such a nice lady. And she said what had happened with this guy was that he had with the open heart surgery, sometimes the patients, when you have some kind of cardiac surgery that's major, it will reroute the blood flow to the brain. And what they think has happened to the guy is that he has totally lost blood flow to some of his behavioral aspects of his brain, which has caused him to rage like this. And, you know, it was really incredible. But anyways, you know, what's my story there? You know, I would never advise anybody that did not feel comfortable to run an appointment like that. I mean, that was absolutely scary. And, you know, things like that are out there. You know, it's a reality. You know, you never know what you're going to get when you walk in front of somebody on a door. They're going to be crazy, normal, somewhere in between. Luckily, they're not all nutcases like this guy. But, you know, now I have a reason not to go up to somebody with a no trespassing sign or beware of dogs or weird signs like that. It just doesn't make me feel comfortable. And you know what? Hey, you may be a wuss, but hey, you walk away with your life and you got the next guy to call on. So, hey, it's the way it is. So that's Dave Dufort here from Final Expense Agent Mentor, and another war story to share. And if you want to check out more of them, you got my YouTube page here. I've also got my website at feagentmentor.com. You can check out a lot of my training material that I put out there for absolutely free. Remember to subscribe to my YouTube page and thumbs up this if you like what I had to say, or thumbs me down if you think I'm a giant puss. That's fine too. Either way, thanks so much for listening. Y'all take care.